Yeah, so we have a great pleasure to have Dr. Geoffrey Clements. He's the chairman of Commonwealth Infrastructure Partners, and he has a very distinguished academic and professional record all over the world. And another very special thing about Dr. Geoffrey is he is a person who is very much centered into the self. What we say, the centered in self means swasth, swame sthit. Somebody who has been with Shri Mahesh Yogi ji for 35 years, and he himself practices meditation 2 hours every day, 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, 1 in the morning and 1 evening. And was here and he delivered wonderful session to my students and my faculty and deans. So it is a great pleasure to welcome you, Dr. Geoffrey.
Thank you very much.
So very, very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I've been hearing about you, a lot of great work you've done on the innovation, and I believe when you come to India, you also organize lectures on innovation labs, entrepreneurship, project management, and many such things. So please tell me something about your experience about innovations and what organizations have to do on the innovations. So you shared that some examples from like Nokia and Polaroid. So I think for the sake of our viewers and for the public in general, if you can share some insight, that would be nice.
Thank you. And thank you very much. And I'm delighted to be here at this wonderful institution that I always enjoy visiting. The wonderful team you have at faculty and the very bright students, very mature and very eloquent in the way they express themselves. It's always a great joy to be here.
Thank you so much.
The field of innovation and a very closely related area of entrepreneurship are really crucial. They're crucial in India at the moment because of the rapid expansion of possibilities and the fact for the economy to be self-sustaining, it needs not only the growth of established companies, but the initiative Startup India, for example, which the government has introduced, reskilling the population, the National Skill Development Corporation. The opportunities are unbounded, but those opportunities have to be grasped. And to do that, and this is true of people in government, it's true of people in the private sector, it's true of people in higher education and school education. They have to grasp the opportunities to be innovative and entrepreneurial in order to move forward.
So you feel that entrepreneurial mindset is very much required to be innovative?
Yes, they run really together. You could say there are 3 streams. One is creativity, one is innovation, and one is entrepreneurship. And they all run together. To be innovative, you have to have some creativity, and to be entrepreneurial, you have to have an innovative spirit and skill. And of course, the determination at one point is to do it. And if you look at the way in which the private sector works, or indeed the public sector, if you look at governments, for example, there are state governments in India that are doing very well. They prospered, and sometimes they then cease doing so well.
Okay.
And my observation is that when the people in the administration of that state government have an entrepreneurial and innovative spirit, then that state will prosper. It will come number 1 in ease of doing business, for example. So it's important in the public sector. In the private sector, the spirit of innovation and entrepreneurship is not only important for entrepreneurs developing their own companies or developing their own innovations, it's important for every company. And it's sometimes called intrapreneurship.
Right.
And so if you look at companies like Nokia, which thought they had the whole command on the mobile phone industry, they collapsed because they weren't innovative and entrepreneurial within their company.
And they also couldn't see the change in the customer pattern.
Yes.
What customer really wanted. So all these things they couldn't see because
That's right.
The employee also thought all is going well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they were set on what they were doing. They thought, we're doing very well, we can just continue what we're doing. Kodak is another example. Kodak manufactured cameras in order to sell film. They didn't realize that era was rapidly coming to an end with digital photography. And so both their film market and their camera market collapsed because they weren't focusing on the future.
Right.
And there are some fantastic theories of innovation, like disruptive innovation, developed by Professor Christensen at Harvard University, where you can have a very clear understanding of the stages of innovation and how they have to be adopted to come into play and to be successful. So my experience in talking to government departments or companies or to students, MBA students for example, is that if you can convey an understanding of what entrepreneurship is and what it means and how it depends on innovation and how innovation can be structured, because I think there's a fear of the unknown very often. Oh, I want to be an entrepreneur, what will I develop? And many good thinking people and well-structured ideas fall down because they haven't really structured how the innovation is going to move forward.
Sure.
And there are certain methods by which you can gauge the viability, the planning, the profitability of different stages, so that there's less likelihood that you will fall down, but you will be able to proceed.
Sure, I think it's a wonderful point that you have mentioned. It is also seen, especially in India, the people who are not so much bothered about future, they just jump into the action, and then they see, okay, something else is happening. Because many times you may have a great plan, but those plans are not executed well with the same energy. So that again becomes a problem.
Yes.
Sometimes you may not know what is this requirement, that requirement, what is the legal system, but still you feel that somewhere the value can be generated, how the value can be co-created, and then you jump with that idea, and then you see, many examples we see, be it Ola or Oyo, and many things which are coming from India. So the Indian entrepreneurs have this kind of story to share.
Yes.
And also we have seen that there is a big difference in what is a normal improvement and what is a breakthrough innovation.
Yes.
Because one small improvement cannot lead to innovation.
Right.
For that you also need to have a very different mindset.
Yes.
And for that, like your background of the inner journey has been very important, because many of the innovations are coming from the domain of that I don't know, that I don't know. Because otherwise you'll be just getting a little better of the existing.
Yes.
The totally breakthrough ideas may not come. So do you think that in our ancient model there used to be a model of Gan, Gyan and Dhyan? That means you focus on music, you focus on Swadhyaya study, and you also focus on Dhyan, that is meditation in a way. But in the coming time you see that the people are very much only in the bookish knowledge, and they feel they are having a great knowledge, but the knowledge and information cannot be known as wisdom. So what are your views in order to promote innovation culture? Do you think some sort of a transformation at a being level, or transformation through the inner journey? Because you have been yourself a yogi for 35 years. So what would be your views on that? Can meditation and inner journey play an important role in promoting innovation? So what is your view on that?
I think you've hit upon really what is the most crucial point. And it's something that I've been focused on throughout my career, as you've mentioned. I'll put in an intermediate step here, which is where India has a tremendous advantage over many other countries, which is the large number of young professionals. Because young professionals tend to have a much more unbounded approach. There are no limitations.
Right.
They haven't experienced failure, they've only experienced growth.
Yeah, and they're not bound by the past mindset.
That's right, not bound by the past mindset.
Yeah.
I was in Cochin the other day, and I visited one of their high-tech cities, and there were 45,000 people came in every day to work.
Yeah.
My guess is that the average age was 25.
Great.
And the amount of innovation and creativity, such enclaves here in India are powering the IT capacity of the whole world. And that's not an exaggeration at all. But moving forward, unlocking the full creative potential is so important. It's understood that on average we may be using just 10% of our creative potential, which is tragic. There's 90% not tapped.
Okay.
And you mentioned dhyan, meditation. And the field of pure consciousness, or samadhi, is a field of infinite creativity. That's what it's there for. It sustains the universe,
Right.
inner and outer. And my experience, having been involved in this for many years, is that where you give, especially young people, the opportunity to experience pure consciousness, unfold their creativity, then the opportunities are fabulous. There's another element as well, which is how this gets expressed in the psychology. Being an entrepreneur, being an innovator, is a very courageous thing to do, rather than going out and getting a job and being paid for doing a job.
Yeah.
And so the combination of stability and adaptability is very, very important. You have to be stable, you have to know where you are grounded, but you have to be adaptable enough that you know how you have to change as time moves on. And through the practice of transcendental meditation, which is what I do, and many research studies have been done, you can see that these dual qualities of stability and adaptability grow as the experience of pure consciousness becomes stabilized. Now, because this is the heritage of India, this is where this knowledge came from, and you rightly said the distinction between facts and wisdom.
Yeah.
Facts and knowledge only become wisdom when they're completely embedded in the consciousness of the person. And that is really the tradition of India, the Vedic wisdom. And this is, I think, one of the reasons why the innovative nature of especially the young population in India has blossomed and exploded and become a global phenomenon. People all over the world want to employ young graduates from this country because they're known to be the most creative.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful you have shared. And also the inner journey and spirituality also tells them that you are whole and complete right now. Because when you feel that you are not good enough or something is missing, you only try for a small fix.
Yes.
But when you are in totality, then the greater totality is created.
Yes.
So I think it was wonderful to talk to you and also getting this very special perspective on the inner journey and the innovation. And it is really so much thankful to you. And we do hope we'll be continuing this series and we'll be sharing more with our audience in the time to come. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been a complete joy. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. With Dr. Geoffrey. Lovely. Thank you.